very toxic masculinity at the very least. But it's an answer not only to that, but it's an affirmation about a person who, as you said, is coming into herself, feeling these different things, exploring her many sexual beings and sexual lives, if you will. Maybe that's not the best term, but all of these identities and feelings and lives that you're living that a society never does, never asks a man to challenge themselves, to explore themselves. And some of the men in this book, and you talked about Adam, and particularly some of the other white males in this book, are so trapped, and allow me to
Yes.
just say this for a second, so trapped by a white cis male patriarchy. They're trapped by it. And they will not look at their feelings at all. And spoil, I mean, I hope I'm not spoiling too much of your book.
No, no.
Um, but they won't look at this. I mean, particularly those types of men, they will not look at it. And I really, I say enjoyed, but I really was fascinated in the way that you deconstructed them using your narrative voice, but using many different narrative voices of who you were, these different levels of yourself intellectually, to decipher and really attack what these men weren't doing or were doing, the cruelties and all the other different things. While yourself, you're going through all of these really traumatic things, and you're also going through some very beautiful, loving, sexual things. Can you talk about all of that? It's kind of,
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me. I don't know how else to articulate it.
No, that's great. Thank you so much again for just seeing what I'm trying to do and engaging so deeply. It really, yeah, means so much. It was really important to me to show the suffering that patriarchy uh, places on men as well. Not in a way that absolves them of responsibility for harmful behavior, but for me, as part of my journey healing from a lot of this, I found it was more personally beneficial to be able to take that lens of compassion and curiosity and wanting to understand. When I interviewed psychologists, like, what was going on for him? What was, like, what makes someone need to control someone to that degree? And to me, I would never say like what other people should do, but to me, that was a much better way of healing, and moving forward and integrating these traumatic experiences. It felt like a more empowering position than simply he or these other men who've done things are bad and I am the victim and I am good, but rather this more nuanced, non dualistic take of we're all suffering in different ways. It doesn't help to absolve people of responsibility for that suffering. You see me very much holding him accountable in some real ways. But also, I wanted to show how that might be done in a spirit of compassion. It's tough love for sure. Um, and also just to show the way men are also trapped by these systems, I think is important if we're to move forward, in this kind of quote unquote post Me Too world, to have a nuanced view of okay, what is the harm being done, but also what are ways we can understand why this seems to be arising so much more among certain groups of people with power, and how might that information be useful for changing the script and deconditioning it. And so yeah, that's what I was trying to do, I suppose.